some meditation, some inspiration. If it's not one of the three, I don't want it. Let's go ahead and talk about this for an hour, get ourselves into the mentality, overcome our challenges. A lot of people are going through different challenges, going through different times, different abilities, different mentalities. So how do we start getting ourselves in that place? How do we start putting ourselves in a place where we become positive, where we start utilizing what we have, where we utilize our challenges? If it's not about motivation, if it's not about meditation, if it's not about inspiration, I don't want it. If it's not one of the three. So where do we start to get focused? When do we start to get focused? How do we start to get focused? Those are the types of questions we should ask ourselves. Each challenge that we take on, each part of who we are, each part of our mentality, our ability, and to overcome our challenges come from within ourselves. So when do we start to be who we are on the inside? When do we start to face off against the challenges that we take on? When do we start to get to that place where we're utilizing what we have inside of ourselves? And so today happens to be that first Sunday of the new year here. Happens to be a time when we're putting ourselves in a place where mentality starts to take on shape, where the ability inside of oneself comes from looking at how to overcome challenge and how to put ourselves in a place where challenges no longer have the ability to affect us, how no longer have the ability to hold us back. And as we focus to that place, as we get down with those kinds of challenges, as we truly get to be who we are on the inside, as we start to manifest that being within us, as we start to focus to that level, or we start utilizing the energy that we have inside, we start utilizing the challenges that we have, we start utilizing the person that we are, the reflection, it starts to radiate outwards. It starts to radiate from within you. It starts to become a vibration, and it's inside of ourselves that we got to find it. It's inside of who we are that starts to open up and to become who we are. And a lot of us stop ourselves from that place. We stop ourselves from that ability because we don't see it inside of ourselves, right? So looking inside of who we are, the reflection starts to radiate outwards. It starts to radiate at a point where what we're utilizing is our mentality. What we're utilizing is our ability. And each of us has challenges. Each of us has things that we want to work through. We each have something that we could focus on, something that we could focus through. And putting ourselves in a place where we start utilizing that level of focus is important. Putting ourselves in a place where we're focusing past our challenges, where our challenges are not greater than we are on the inside, where what we're going through is increasing in our mentality, it's increasing in our ability, it's giving us the ability to have the upper hand in our lives. And each of us has those kinds of challenges where you look at the day and you ask yourself the question, you ask yourself, is this how my day is going to be? Is this what I'm going to make through? And each of us who answers the question back is, I can't speak my mind. Why can't you speak your mind? Why can't you be who you are on the inside? And it's when you start to be who you are on the inside, it's when you start to utilize what you have. It's when you start to focus through your challenges. It's when your reflection comes from your mentality. You see, a lot of people who use what they have on the inside, they end up in places where, people ask them how they were able to get there. They ask them how they were able to be who they are, how they were able to face off against their challenges. And it's in that page where we find that focus lays. It's on that page that we find that mentality comes from within, that the ability to be who you are is inside of you, that you are yet but a vibration. You are yet but a thought process. Each of us have blessings that we can share with the world. Each of us have challenges that we could share with the world, and things that we can work through. And so when do we start working through our challenges? When do we start putting ourselves on a page where our mentality starts to create a reflection? And it's inside of ourselves that we utilize it. It's inside of ourselves to where it becomes a tool what you think. It becomes a tool the way you look at the universe. And it's not for somebody else. It's not a gauge against somebody else. It's you versus you, and it's always been you versus you since the day your first breath. And what other people see is the reflection of your mentality, the reflection of your being, the reflection of your manifestation, and they see what you want your mentality to become. They see what you want your ability inside of yourself to become. What are you focused into? What is it that you work with? How do you work through your challenges? How do you put yourself on a page where your challenges are not greater than you are on the inside, where what you have going on you're able to overcome? So each of us has challenge. Each of us has things that we got to work through. That we got to put our mentality to the wheel. We got to put our mentality to the ability for us to start to use it and to start becoming it. And each of us have that place inside of ourselves where we can give an excuse for a challenge. But when you face off against those challenges, when you put yourself on that page where you're using what you have, where what you have inside is vibrating, where what you have inside is becoming who you are, when you see that kind of beauty start to radiate outwards, when you start to use your challenges to your advantage, when you start to see that you can overcome things when your mind is in place, when you're focused to that point where what you have going on, you have the ability to overcome. See, each of us has that place inside of ourselves. It's up for us to ask ourselves the question, how are we going to find a way? When do you start creating a plan to overcome your challenges? When do you start to get to the part of yourself where you become focused through your challenge, where your challenges become your friend, right? It's inside of you to get there for yourself. It's inside of you to focus through that place and to recognize that you can do things, you can achieve things, you can overcome challenge from within you. And each of us have that place inside of ourselves where when we're focused to that point, we find who we are. We find the person that we are inside. We find the challenges that we face off against are not greater than we are. We find that our level of focus goes beyond our challenges. Our level of focus goes from within, and it radiates light outwards. It radiates the being outwards. It gives you the ability to truly face off against your challenges. And each of us have challenge. Each of us have things that only we can do, only we can become. And if we focus through that stuff, if we give ourselves the ability to grow and to manifest and to be who we truly are on the inside, then we start to see that it's worth it. We start to see that we can become it and that we can manifest it. You see, the challenges that you face off against, they're in your mind. They're in your mentality. They're in the ability for you to be who you are, to face off against the things that only you can face off against. And so each day that we give ourselves permission to be who we are on the inside, that we give ourselves permission for our mentality to start to show, we start to reflect outwards from within. You know, it's our place inside that matters the most. Is our place in our mentality that starts to get to the place where the challenges start to be faced off against. And each of us has challenge. Each of us has things to work through. Each of us has a place inside of our mentality where we're asking ourselves if it's possible for us to make it through these kinds of challenges. And each challenge that you face off against, each thing that you go through, each thing that your mentality starts to overcome, it starts to become like a plan. It starts to become like a purpose. And it starts to become like a level of understanding. And and yes, there are people who seek out energy, and yes, there are people who seek out mentality. And there are parts of ourselves that science talks about, and that the universe is a part of biblical proof. Okay, it's a biblical proof that we are alive, that science and religion are one, that the universe is a part of our being, that our challenges can be overcome, that what we go through doesn't have to stop you, it doesn't have to hold you back. It doesn't have to stop you from being who you are on the inside. Blessings. Hello? Hello? How you doing?
What's up, sir? What's up?
How you doing?
I'm fine.
Blessed out there, and I know that you were telling me which city you live in, right?
I live in Mexico.
You're in New Mexico. Okay. That's cool. So, how's everything going?
It's fine, just fine.
What kind
Just
of
wanted-
what kind of challenges are you facing off against right now, huh?
That's what I want to know, sir. You tell me how's my energy.
Sure. So you like to use your thought process quite a bit. So even if you look around you in places, you will actually find the color yellow. And in fact, hearing this message is what intrigued you to actually ask me to do an energy reading, because you like to use your thought process a lot, which is the yellow energy field.
Absolutely right.
So understanding that also has positive and negative forces that work in your favor. So, like things like the stuff that's around you, the ability for people to be around you. You might like a certain small group, but when it starts to become too many people, you kind of don't want to be around them, because that universal energy works from within and not outside. So, utilizing it is the question. Getting down to the point where what's going on inside starts to vibrate outwards. And it all starts from working with the different energy fields inside of the human being. And there's 7 of them. And so the combination of energy inside of one being is important too, because you do also voice yourself, which is a very good thing to do. That's the blue energy. Do you see how my actual neck is? That's that
What does
energy that flows up there. So each individual, huh?
Voice yourself. What does it mean?
So each energy field breaks down like this. The first energy field is the red energy field. A lot of these people, they get very upset at everything in life. They got to voice themselves a lot. They got to voice themselves, and the whole energy inside of the human being is red. So they have no problem standing their ground. Then you have the people who have the orange energy, and a lot of those people with the orange energy, they usually sometimes become celebrities and stuff like that. Then you have the people who have the yellow energy, and inside of the yellow energy, which actually even bio is yellow. So inside of that energy field is worry, is a whole bunch of characteristics like that you can actually pull up, and you'll be surprised that a lot of those characteristics actually relate directly to you. And so then from there you have the heart. You have the lower part of the heart and the upper part of the heart. The lower part of the heart, because the thought process where that place comes from is close to the lower part of the heart. That lower part of the heart has to deal with the understanding of matters of the heart. The upper part has to deal with the ability to voice oneself from the heart. Then you have the place where you voice yourself from. Then you have the depth perception. When you go beyond the depth perception, that has to deal with walking and doing things like that. Then you have the nervous system, the knowledge outside, in essence. You know, like claustrophobia is related to weakness in the nervous system. Each individual system is a part of the whole being. We all have them inside of us. It's which ones are strong and which ones need work.
So what do you have to say on unconscious fear?
And that is inside of worry. That's inside of the yellow energy. Give me 1 second. So that has to deal with the yellow energy field. So that has to deal with the mind and overcoming challenge. It has to deal with the ability for one to get to the place where that kind of energy starts to flow in a way where instead of being fear, it turns into lessons. Instead of it stopping you, it drives you. Yeah. So that kind of energy, and you can actually look it up online. Look up yellow chakra. You'll actually see the energy that actually flows from that chakra. You will see how it works, and when you start to understand the energy inside of yourself and how it flows, the ability to overcome your challenges start happening, okay?
Uh-huh.
So emotion is nothing less than a layer of knowledge. So you had to learn the emotion. You had to learn fears. You know, if you didn't know that a cliff was there and you went over the cliff, before you knew it was a cliff and you went over the cliff, you wouldn't be afraid of it. Does that make sense?
Actually.
So overcoming your fears is in your mind. It's enabling and disabling of your mind.
So I have a big ego, and this ego creates unnecessary fears, like a defensive fear
Okay.
against persons. And this brings more fear and more fear out of nowhere.
Okay.
So how do I balance this?
Okay, very good. So here's the thing. Internally, we try to put our opinion above universal aspect. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Now, when we look at things like a body in motion stays in motion, when you're positive, positivity starts seeking you out. But your mind has to be willing to focus past your challenges. So, see, the thing is that in the universe, there's either positivity coming your way or negativity coming your way. Your opinion, the minute you choose to have an opinion on that, is the minute you're versing somebody else. They don't breathe your breath, do they?
No.
So for you to see them in an aspect like that is to stop your ability in the universe to go beyond your own opinion. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So at a certain level, you got to start looking at people as a positive and negative in your life. And the hardest way is when we start to become honest with ourselves, not other people. Self-honesty is the hardest trait to work with on the face of the planet. The reason why is because the people who become a part of your life that are in a part of it, they're not always going to see the same way as you are. So it's our task to only bring positive people in our direction.
Uh-huh.
And this is to go beyond opinion. This means that there might be a day you might find a person who is really positive who is a Muslim or a Christian or a Hindu, and you see them as a positive thing in the universe. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes. Absolutely.
So once you go beyond the opinion and beyond the emotion to the knowledge to allow the things that are positive to move into your life, the ability to go beyond good and bad becomes available.
Uh-huh.
So it's at that level where freedom comes inside of ourselves. Remember, we're just tools in the universe. You have a breath. When people seek your help, or they work with you, or they, whatever way in which wealth comes to, or universal understanding comes, it's coming from a sense of the universe using you as a tool. So the question is, when do you pay the universe back? The way in which you pay the universe back is by believing in the law of riches. Have you heard of this?
No.
Okay. When you give, you receive more. And I'm not just talking in just wealth. I'm talking about in every way, in every aspect. So if you want people to view you as a positive person, be positive to other people. Does that make sense now?
Yes.
So each individual part of ourselves is viewed by other people. So way in which it kept me alive when I was sleeping in my van, literally, in San Diego, working umpteen amount of hours, meditating inside the sauna every day and washing my clothes by hand, was the mere fact that there was 3 questions I asked myself every day. And I actually created I'm in the process of creating a company with these 3 names. Motivation. Is what I'm doing today, is it motivation? Is it meditation? And is it inspiration? Because if it's not one of the 3, I don't want it to even be a part of my life. And what that means is that the reflection of what people see from how focused one is into the place, and using positivity as a foundation. Okay, so when you see things moving positively, working in your life, the things that are not positive have the ability to move out of their way. So if you don't like people treating you a certain way, then focus into a positive way to be yourself, that they'll see you, and they'll see you as positivity. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Not pushing them away. That doesn't bring one closer to themselves. See, a lot of people think of self-honesty as selfishness. When you remove everything from the person that you are, and all you are is just you, and like remove everything wealth-wise that's anything, you are still going to be yourself. That is not selfish for you to be you. It is actually called selflessness, because all you have is you. So at that point, that person inside ends up creating a reflection. Now, the person who is willing to achieve self-honesty works with themselves to a point where they start to know themselves. Well, when you're focused into the things that you're wanting to do and you're wanting to achieve in your life, and it's not pulling from other people, but it's actually increasing your universal wealth in a way, when it starts increasing your universal wealth in a way, okay? And this is in every single way possible, not just one, okay? I'm not talking about just one way. I'm talking about every way possible. People start to know you for who you are. They're going to start to see you as a positive person or a negative person in the universe. See, when you seek out positivity and people start to see you as a reflection of motivation, then your tools start to be used. The ability to give more of yourself and to receive more starts working through you. Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So that's how you deal with that kind of thing. By not allowing it to disable your mind. By not allowing it to poison you either. By letting them be themselves. Because you're entitled to your happiness. You're entitled to your being. You're entitled to your thinking. So are they. So when do we see as positive things happening? And so that's how you face off against that kind of challenge. By being present inside of yourself.
Self-talk.
Huh?
It's all about self-talk and self-perception.
Self-understanding is what it's about. It's not seeing from other people's views, but from your own view, to the point where you could see the positivity. Because let me ask you a question. You were left on the side of the road dead, and a Muslim came and picked you up. And he treated you with care. He treated you with positivity. He absolutely did things positive in your life. How would you feel?
Fantastic.
Okay. Feel that way always towards those people. Remember, you're going to find people who are positive and negative. Don't search for good and bad, because even biblically, it talks about a time before the choice was to choose the good, light was good. It talks about a time where there was light. See, a lot of people get trapped on that page. They get trapped on the page that good. They get trapped on the page as bad. When does it come from our beyond our own opinions where we become a part of the universe? And I pulled it up online. I went online like, hey, let me go ahead and pull up how many verses online are there about the universe in the Bible, right? Just as curiosity, because I view from a different angle. Do you get what I'm saying? So it wasn't necessarily from a biblical, but I just wanted to prove a point. And there's about 10 to 12 verses in the Bible that talk about the importance of the universe and the power in the universe. So if yet all these people are created as a part of this universe, and we're all brought here to be a part of it, at a certain point we wake up to positivity. We either wake up to positivity or negativity hits us in the face, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
So see them as a positive thing. See them, all of them, and use your own positivity and your own understanding to free your own mind. It doesn't have to, it's interesting when we think about ego, okay? So I think about a time when I pushed 5 hours inside of a sauna meditating. And I think of a certain person that taught me a lesson about ego, that when you really want things in life, you're willing to be humble. When you really want things in life, when you really want positivity, when you really start seeking it out, the person inside starts to open up to the point where you find that you don't have to have an ego. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So at that page, freedom lays on that page from ego. And it's inside of that simplicity that I'm reminded. And even though my van is broken down right now, I still have I got another vehicle, a Prius. I got to fix my van. I sometimes used to sleep in the van just so I could be reminded of just how simple life is. So simple that your breath could be taken tomorrow, could be your last breath. One of the biggest biblical quotes that to me is that there is more than 23 verses biblically written that talk about meditation in the Bible. Not only that, goes to the extent of being close to the next breath, giving us a reminder that the brutality, the actual importance of meditation and self-connection is what we were brought here to do. We were brought here to be on our journey. And it reminded me when I was at the beach in San Diego. I was at Pacific Beach, and I had a real bad injury to my body, and my hips were displaced, my vertebrae was out of place, and my neck was elongated. And I had to start running and doing chiropractic visits and body surfing to rehabilitate my body. And was alongside yoga. And I remember being there, and I remember a point where I learned that we're on our journey. So when people join you on your journey, you're going to still be on your journey. It's still going to be your path. You started with your first breath, and you end with your last breath. Wherever your path goes beyond that is that's your own view. You getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So never forgetting that is to allow yourself to either see the positivity. So for example, you're hiking up a mountain and you see a fire on the side of the mountain. You have two ways to go. You have a way to go up the mountain or to go down the mountain. Which one do you take? Do you go up or down? Do you go on the other side as soon as you get over it, or do you stay stuck? Do you look at the fire for hours, or do you allow yourself to move forward in your life, in your being? So You're welcome to call in. I am doing energy readings. Energy is what flows inside of a human being. It's how we react to the world. It's what we utilize on a daily basis. It's how we think. It's the actual energy inside of the human being. And so, what an energy reading has to deal with is this thing called a chakra, and there is 7 of them that exist inside of you. They go from the ability to stand your ground in every part of yourself that you utilize to stand your ground, the human organs, the things that make you a universal being, the things that give you the ability to you know worries and thoughts and stuff like that, the heart, which has to deal with the lower part, which is the understanding of the matters of the heart, the upper part of the heart, the ability to voice the heart, the ability to voice yourself and to use the energy that you have inside, and in that way to be able to voice what you're going through and the challenges that you're facing off against. Our depth perception, which deals a lot more with the ability to see into the future, the ability to walk, to be aware of who you are. And then the nervous system, which has to deal with a level of universal knowledge where, when people are close to you and they're vibrating next to you, how do you react? Your nervous system, the reflection from each of these in how they work with you. And so each of those energies is there, and they've already been proven to exist in multiple ways. And so these energies, a lot of people used to call it a chakra or a aura reading, because, and I'm sure you've heard that name, but I call it an energy reading because it goes beyond just what color your energy is. I start going into an explanation of how your energy works, and the types of things that you see around you when you're facing off against challenges. And so when they ask what an energy reading, it's more so about understanding yourself, and like things like a characteristic which people really don't even realize it exists, like the ability to turn on blushing, right? When people make you feel a certain way, it gives you the ability to overcome all of the challenges that you work through. And like fear, for instance, is in the mind. It's when you overcome that, and we've seen this with like sports and stuff like that, where they've turned fear into excitement, and they've had the ability to do amazing things, like like in sports, like snowboarding or skateboarding. You might have to go incredible heights, and it's until you train the mind to be excited in that ability that you can truly do that. And that comes from the vibration. It comes from when you have the ability to put yourself in a place where you're so focused that the only thing that moves in is absolute positivity. And so when we're at that level where what we're working through no longer has the ability to be stopped, right? You've seen those people that you just can't stop from being themselves. It's a beautiful thing when you be who you are on the inside, when your challenges start to become overcome. And when other people see your vibration in such a way that it radiates light outwards from your level of focus. And it's inside of ourselves where each energy field has a purpose. See, if a certain energy field starts to get an overload, such as the solar plexus here, it can short out other areas. Like you could have a shortness in breath from having too much going on with your depth perception, right? So like for instance, when a person is riding on a treadmill, we should realistically be using our red energy field. You see, meditation used to be called by the Japanese kung fu, okay? It used to be called that, but by the Indians they call it meditation. This is self-study, this is self-practice. See, when a person tries to fight with somebody who understands meditation, they're not worried about what's going on outside of you. They're worried about what's going on inside of you. And I can show you a direct connection, okay? I can show you a connection between that and Bruce Lee. the understanding of the whole breath. And it works in a way in which each individual energy field has its place. So like for instance in the gym, if you're doing squats, you should be using the sciatic nerve system, which relates the red energy in your body in such a way in which it flows, where the energy flows throughout your back of your arms and the back of your legs. And so like for instance, if you're going to do a bench press, you're going to use a lot of heart energy. Yeah, so that can actually increase the energy inside of yourself, can actually increase the ability to lift more and do more if you start to understand what kind of energy you're actually using and what kind of place you're using that energy. See, I used to do over 100 handstand push-ups in less than 30 minutes. Okay, I've done 1 hour inside the sauna before, where I did 30 minutes of meditation, 300 push-ups, sit-ups, squats, leg lifts, and yoga before walking out of the sauna. And see, that's a breakdown of mentality and ability inside of oneself. And how does one get to the ability to being able to do such thing? It's because this is a reflection outwards. I remember sitting inside the sauna, and you know, my after 47 days cross-legged, it's so interesting. People think that yoga is not the most powerful exercise, when in fact yoga is actually the most powerful exercise. Okay, so there's things in yoga called binds, where you actually can go past it. You can start pressing pressure against it. The stretch goes beyond the stretch, and it's inside of that the true strength lays. And I've been doing one of those types of stretches for quite a few years now, and that is the lotus pose. And I can prove that to you. I can actually prove that yoga is the most powerful exercise on the face of the planet. Go ahead and sit down with your legs crossed. Okay? Sit completely in Indian style for 2 hours and tell me yoga is not the most powerful exercise. Okay? So when we use our energy inside at that level, actually, better yet, let me ask you, can you even sit for an hour cross-legged? So that is where that actually becomes a definition, yeah? So if we start to get into poses where we're holding them for such powerful time as hours, which I did for 5 hours one day before exiting the sauna, then most definitely yoga becomes the most powerful exercises. See, a lot of people forget things like standing pose. When your hands are pressed against each other, you start to feel the pressure on your hands when you stand with such a lock in place. See, yoga was not designed for just the little flow. It was designed that each individual pose became a prayer. It became a vibration. It became a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years of practicing. Yeah? So that's why yoga is the most powerful form of exercise. Oh yes, trust me, I have. I have, in fact, for years. It is something special. It is something that, when taught correctly, when it's taught in such a way in which the strength comes out of you, the reflection radiates light from within the mind. So, using that energy. So, the question that I was asked was, how do you use that so you can have more energy inside of the gym? So I would like to let you see for yourself what I mean. Go to my website, motivationmeditationinspiration.yoga. Go look through my videos there. Okay? Start to ask yourself the question. Go watch my videos and see what you ask yourselves. So I enjoy people that are positive and the people that are not negative. And so I do not allow people that are negative to be a part of a conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, because mentality is to work through your challenges and to bring yourself closer to the ability to continue to liberate the mind. Okay, and so it's an interesting thing that question, and so let me go ahead and explain how much I understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so my great grandfather did meditation. My grandfather did meditation. My mom did meditation. My dad did meditation. My mom was in the ashram with the person who brought Kundalini to the US. Okay? I took a student from instructor course in San Diego to the sauna. And I was teaching the instructor how to do meditation because he couldn't handle it inside there with me. So let's go ahead and take a look here at so it's applying the energy in such a way that it starts to be used for you and not against you. See, I talk about this all the time. I talk about, so what I was asked here is that the solar plexus is so delicate. One single thought gets my acid up my throat. So in fact, exactly what I was talking about. You use yellow energy. So this has a lot to do with how you think your thoughts. And energy inside of ourselves flows in that way, and that stuff that usually comes up is called bio. It's acid. It's literally yellow. And so when we focus into things and use them to our advantage, and this is why I always talk about writing things down, because when you start to put them in front of yourself, you start facing off against them, and the ability to overcome the challenges starts to have the ability to start to happen. Now, when we understand the energy in yellow energy field has to deal with worries and thoughts in the mind. So we're talking about different parts of your whole entire human being and how it radiates outwards. So when you're working with that kind of energy, which is exactly what I was talking about, it exactly is that type of energy. You got to start to see your advantages and start focusing into your advantages. See, each individual and each individual energy field and how the energy field is being used inside of the human being matters. So when we're using the energy in such a way that it starts to work for us, then the ability to use it becomes your friend. And these challenges, these abilities for that type of thing to happen, it's an ability to wake up and to start to be yourself. See, when you start to become yourself, your challenges become your ally. They almost, in a sense, start to allow the universe to become your friend. And a lot of us don't give ourselves that place to start getting there for ourselves because we want to have somebody else do it for us, okay? And it's not going to happen until we want it for ourselves. When you want freedom inside of yourself, when you don't want that type of a thing to happen when you're facing off against your challenges, comes down to where you apply your energy. Okay? And a lot of us don't put it into the place where we're using our energy in that way. And so when we face off against challenges, the outside ends up crushing the inside. And we've always been meant to be present inside of our being. We've meant to be able to learn lessons and to work through challenges. And when we focus at that ability to actually do so, to where our challenges no longer have the ability to stop us, then they start to become your friend. And each individual has challenges. Each individual has things to work on and to work through. So that actually is a great thing, that you have the ability to have challenge. Because if you didn't have challenges, then you wouldn't be able to be who you are right now. You wouldn't be able to face off against the things that you go through. And so, are you able to do that for yourself, or have you stopped yourself from that place? That's the type of questions that make meditation so important, that make yoga the most powerful form of exercise on the face of the planet. Is that when the body becomes a reflection of the mind, the ability to be who you are inside starts to radiate outwards. And so, we see this when people say, oh yeah, yoga is not the most powerful exercise. But then we have them stand there for 2 hours in standing pose until their knees are about to fall apart, breathing through patterns inside of the body they never learned before, using combinations of energy that break your body down to ask you the question, is your body a reflection of your mind? Then people see that yoga is the most powerful form of exercise. Then they see the challenges that they go through, they can overcome. That what's going on the outside is a reflection of what's going on the inside. See, that is what it means to be a yogi. The connection of the body connected with the breath, to the point where your practice is prayers. See, a lot of people don't spend 10 years in one pose. They don't spend 10 years mastering themselves. But yet then they read quotes like, I don't fear the man who kicks 1,000 punches or kicks. I fear the man who kicks one kick 10,000 times. Because that was even understood by Bruce Lee. And so if you're looking for your energy to start to open up, to start to flow at the point where you start to gain that 10,000 kicks in your life, you must look inside of your mind. You must look in your ability that your external is just a reflection, that you can go inwards, that you can become a student in your life, that you can be the person that you are inside, that you can get through your challenges, and that who you are inside can vibrate light outwards. And that you can believe in yourself, that you could see yourself as beautiful, that you could see your stories, your lessons as your level of qualification to be yourself. And so I was asked a question, is there any other way that I can connect with you? And my network is Motivation, Meditation, Inspiration. I have my Facebook, my Instagram, my Periscope, my Twitter, and my YouTube channel, actually, where you can subscribe, you can watch my videos. I do have about 100, maybe 300 videos on there. I got so many videos because I do this every day, because it's inside of the mentality. It's like the other day, there was a person in my car who was going through anxiety, which a lot of people at this time, surprisingly, they actually are going through that, which this can actually help with that. It can help you to break down those challenges that you have inside. It can help you to overcome those types of things. And it's known by the top in motivational speaking what I'm talking about. What I'm actually talking about is there for you. And it's within that I feel like I'm a knife in the universe. What I actually put out is not the stories, guys. I don't like putting out the stories. I like putting out how we overcome the challenges. How we literally use our own mentality to free ourselves. Okay? It isn't just about me. This isn't just about my story. Okay? It's about building a community of people who ask themselves the question, is what I'm doing today about motivation? Is it about meditation? And is it about inspiration? And it's gaining a practice inside of ourselves where people see this form of practice can work inside of themselves, where you can refer this to your friends that are going through challenges and they can overcome their own challenges, where energy readings can come out, where abilities to sit down and to practice meditation, where I have posted meditation online where people can actually go and watch it themselves. But like Michael Jordan, a lot of people say they want to shoot the shots, but they don't shoot the shots that Michael Jordan did to get where Michael Jordan is. And as I remember sitting inside the sauna, the days, the weeks, the months, the years, just connecting with the breath, I remember breathing so much that I remember when people saw that, I wanted to help them because I knew that I had been breathing that way, that pattern, that mentality, that focus for so long. You know, the 3.5 years of telesales, the 2.5 years of car sales, the 5 years of Uber driving, the over 100,000 people that I have personally spent time talking to, makes us understand that the ability is a able mentality. It's an ability to be who you are on the inside. It's an ability to overcome your challenges, to not compare yourself to somebody else, to truly be who you are on the inside, and to know that for yourself. To truly know who you are on the inside, to use your focus and your knowledge to center yourself, to be who you are, to face off against your challenges that you can overcome. The fears that might be holding you back are in your mind. The challenges that might hold you from overcoming the things that you go through. Your journey, your path is worth it. Your purpose is worth it. You are a blessing in this universe. And you become an inspiration as people see you as a reflection of that. As they see you liberating yourself from your challenges, when you free yourself from that point where you free yourself to be a tool in the universe, which you already are. You know, a lot of us call it a job. We call it a profession. When do we call ourselves that tool that's right for our profession? When do we call ourselves that tool that's right for our jobs? You see, we all have a purpose on the face of the planet. We all are a blessing. We all have the ability to see the blessings radiate light through us. It's up to you to want to achieve it at that level where it's universal. Universal understanding is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the person, like for instance, Conor McGregor. Okay. Before Conor McGregor, in the UFC, there was not a person that was known to be an Irish martial artist, known to be at the top of his game, known to be the person who could achieve a level of success as an Irish. And once he freed his mind to get to that point where he manifested that level of reflection for himself, because there are other people that are skilled as well. It freed the minds of other people. And we see the same story in a person by the name of Roger Bannister. Roger Bannister broke the barrier in the mile. Okay? At the time when, before Roger Bannister, if a person ran a certain speed mile, they were considered that they were going to drop dead. The heart was going to stop beating. Now, once Roger Bannister ran that mile, once he was able to free his mind, that there was no comparison other than against yourself, he was able to get to the place where other people could see that for themselves. He knew that he could achieve what other people called impossible. He knew that he could become what other people would not be able to do for themselves. By doing that, he freed mankind to be able to believe that they could do it for themselves as well. This is knowledge. This is focus. This is the technology of being yourself. When you achieve those things within yourself, when you achieve those things within your breath, when you achieve those things within your being, that's when the reflection starts to radiate. And we have that place inside. We have that kind of purpose. And we also have that kind of path that each of us can achieve those things that free the world for us to be ourselves. That free the world for us to go through our challenges, that we can overcome them. That we can truly be who we are on the inside. That we can open our mind to that level where we are liberated. And that, my friends, is what it means to be a reflection of inspiration. It means to be who you are. It means to use the energy that you have, to use your level of focus to help other people, to help them to understand themselves, to help them to overcome their challenges, to be who they truly are, the light that they are in this universe. Because you are all lights. And it's up to you to be it for yourself. It's up to you to believe in yourself. It's up to you to become it within you. What a blessing it is for us to have challenge. Without challenge, you can't see the positive and the negative in all things. So look for the positive in the things that you face off against. Look for the positive in the person that you want to become, that you want to vibrate, that you want to light up in this world, that the being that you are. And so focus it to that point where what you're utilizing is yourself, where you are nothing more, nothing less than you are, that you are simply a being within the universe, that you are a light, that other people, when they see you, they see a blessing coming their way, and that is you. Because you are a blessing in this universe, and you do have challenges, and you do have things that you can work through, and you do have a person that you can become, and you can be who you are on the inside. And you don't have to change yourself to be who you are. You don't have to change yourself to be the light that you have inside. You don't have to change yourself to vibrate light outwards. But you can't let vibrate outwards unless you are yourself. And so those kind of blessings start coming out of us. They start vibrating light into the universe. They start bringing people closer to themselves. They start bringing them closer to their being, to their centering, to their focus, to their knowledge that they are lights within the universe. So focus to that place where we utilize what we have, where the person that we are inside is us. And I just want you all to see that you are a blessing within this universe, within your level of focus, within your purpose, within your challenges. And I want you to see that you can overcome those challenges when you believe in yourself enough to connect your knowledge and your focus to the place where you free yourself to be the person that you are inside. Just want to leave you with a blessing as always. Say blessings, blessings, blessings.